Yo, chat. Wait, stream lagging? No, it's not. At least it's not lagging. Okay, what else did I forget? Yo guys, how you doing? How's life? Give me a moment. Or maybe 2 more. Can you even cook water? I wanted to cook water. Wait, and also music is too loud. Wait, let me see where I can fix the music. I don't see the thing. Oh, come on. Oh, there's no song. I don't see the volume. How about that? Is that good enough for background music? I hope it is. Otherwise you just complain and then I'll fix it again. Yes. Cool. So how are you guys doing? What's happening? What's happening for you guys? I'll do some Manim stuff first. Probably not for too long. And then we'll continue probably slaying the spire. That's my plan at least. And we'll see. I haven't looked at how... I haven't really looked at Manim stuff for a while again, so I'll probably need a moment or two to get into it again. But we can manage. Yo, chat, you wanna see something wild? Something that happened today in town? I can show you stuff. Give me a moment. Where's my VS Code? Okay. Where's my Manim stuff? That's the more important question. Hello? There it is. That's mine. This goes here. Actually, let me put it here. And then you can't read anything because it's way too small, and then I can fix that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe 1, 2 more. That's okay-ish, maybe. Can you already read the stuff on the screen, or should I go larger? I can go larger, I think. Let's give me one larger or so. Yeah, that's good. Let's go with that. So what happened in town today? Let me show you. I can read it well. Perfect. Look at... Wait, I said it too early. I don't have the browser open yet. No! Where did it go? This. Look at that. There was a gigantic fire today in the local paper recycling facility. Looked pretty scary. You could see the smoke all over the city. It was pretty intense. So I could see it both from home and from my office. It was pretty rough. Let's open. What building is that? That was a paper recycling factory. Or paper recycling facilities, I think the better expression. I'm not sure. And apparently there was fire both inside and outside of the facility. Yo! That's the first time I see this. Manim has 10k stars now. That's quite something. Hooray for Manim! That's nice. Okay, so what do we have here? That's maybe something that's easy. Quick start, building blocks, deeper look, okay, so building blocks should come after a deeper look. What is what? I just take a look at like 1 or 2 pull requests, and then I actually want to, well, continue writing the article thing that I've been working on, and that illustrates the workflow of the library, because that will be most useful if it's done at some point. That makes sense. Yeah. So, or maybe I already said that, but there seems to have been fire both outside where the paper was stored and inside the factory somewhere. It took quite a while for the fire department to get a hold of the fire. And actually, if I look over there, because I can see it from where I'm sitting, there's still smoke coming up, so it's still, yeah, stuff is still happening there. Must have been a big fire, really big fire. Tutorials. Where even are they? Wait, what? Am I crazy? Ah, there they are. So quick start is the first one that you're supposed to read, that quickly starts and actually should be rewritten. The building blocks one does what? That's a pretty thorough one, isn't it? What's a deeper look? Oh yeah, that talks about config and stuff a little bit. And actually, I think deeper look should be renamed to output and configuration or something like that. Let me suggest that. Looks good to me. Actually, we might even want to go one step further. I don't necessarily think that a deeper look is a particularly good title for what is presented in the contents of the tutorial. Parentheses, output files and configuration. What do you think about renaming the tutorial? Question mark. Submit. 0.15.2 is available. We did never make the announcement for that. That's true. I feel bad for that now. We just merged some bug fixes, basically. We can actually quickly take a look at the changelog. 0.15.2. I have quite some people in there. Also some, wait, there were some names that I... Interesting. New feature, there's a new spiral in animation which might be interesting. So this is new. Jesus, this is fast. It should be a longer one. Okay, but it's probably because it's the documentary. So this is new. You can have an animation that spirals in some stuff. A group somehow. We used this in our. I think this is also said in the thing. Our banner uses the animation, this sort of animation. Oh, does it? Wait. I hate when that happens. Do you see that? The order of the objects changes in right before the stuff is faded out again. I mean, that's a bug. Why does that even happen? I wonder whether we can fix that easily. Definitely shouldn't happen, actually. Well, anyhow. So this is new. We have, in case you have played around with the OpenGL renderer a bit, there's an image object now for the OpenGL renderer, so you can do this sort of thing, which is nice, I guess. And then yeah. Something that might actually be quite useful to a lot of people is this one here, which allows you to create an angle by specifying 3 points in the plane. Oh, come on. It's like I see these things for the first time. So you can specify up, origin, left. This is 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, and then it draws the angle that's between these 3 points, which is useful, I guess. And same for this one down here. But I'm actually annoyed that this is not formatted correctly. And I think it was actually at some point, so I'm really confused, actually. I'm really confused. Didn't this render locally correctly? I wonder. Well, I should just open an issue for that. GitHub. Manim. Issue. New issue. Bug. Doesn't really qualify as a bug, but it's documentation. Format. No, I don't design people. Formatting in angle.from 3 points. Maybe someone wants to do that. Broken. Because actually this is also a good first issue. Where is that? Just scroll past it. Good first issue. There it is. I thought it was green. That's why I couldn't see it. C plop. The text string / angle ABC formatted correctly. Expected behavior. It should be formatted correctly. How to reproduce the issue? We don't need that because, well, no media files. No additional comments. No, actually also no. Submit. Done. Easy. What else? What was the thing that I said before? There was another thing that I noticed. Ah, the banner. The banner. I kind of want to look at it myself, actually. It's the unwrite animation that for some reason reverses the order of the objects, which is not good. Shouldn't do that. Does the light version do it as well? Yeah, same thing. Okay. I should test it first locally. Oh well, anyhow, it is how it is. Okay. What else is there? Any other pull requests? Pre-commit CI, pre-commit auto update. Upgrade this, a new version. Cool. That's something I can just merge. Done. Wait. I should have at least applied labor enhancement. Or actually that's infrastructure. Is it infrastructure? Wait, there's another one. Maintenance is there another one. Let's flag it with both. No, it's actually not maintenance, it's infrastructure, it's fine. One fixed. And then I've approved a bunch of PRs, or some of them are approved already, so I think we can also just merge them at this point. Enable auto merge and update. Okay, and maybe one more. There was another one somewhere, but maybe this has already been fixed or merged. This one. I merged? Yeah, I can merge that. Update. Wait, that was too soon probably. That probably was too soon. Now one of the two branches will not be merged yet probably. Or maybe maybe both get merged. We will see. We will see. Oh no, the matrix brackets are also not merged yet. Really? Oh, the pre-commit CI is too slow. But that's fine actually. Then I just disable auto merge here. And then we wait. Then we wait for a moment and then we switch to the other PR. Then we switch to mine and then we write some well, tutorial stuff. I want to have this finished by this week because there are people that are interested in work in changing how things work. So it would be good to have them at least documented at some point, to have some sort of well, basis that we can branch out from. And having a working tutorial that explains how rendering actually works is probably not a bad thing, to be honest. There we go. Enable auto merge. Let's try again. And update. Okay. 3 PRs merged, or was it actually 4? Ah, this one. Okay, we've reviewed one. We've merged 3 others. That's good. we play, the thing that should happen is whenever a square is created, a sound should be played. Isn't that amazing? For some reason, I've had a lot of fun with that. Actually, I should have used a fancier animation here, but well, you get the idea. That's how it works. Can play sound. This in this file for a while longer until I either delete it or come up with something better. Okay, let's check out the branch that I want. I'm currently bisecting. No, I'm not. Oh no. What have I done? Wait, can I not just git bisect? What are my options? Reset, skip, run, help, replay. No, I just want stop. Why is there a git bisect start and no git bisect stop? Help, start, bad, good, new, old, terms, skip, next, reset, visualize, view, replay, log, run. Oh, wait. I mean, I can live with. Wait, what did I? There are no changes. Git bisect reset. Oh, it works. Git check out main. Git pull. Okay, there we go. Now we're on the main branch again. Okay, so here's what I want to do. Here is what I want to do. I want to go to my pull request, the long one. It's not good that there's a long one. I mean, I actually have two long pull requests open, but one of them is simply not ready yet. Both of them are simply not ready yet, actually. 2550. PR check out 2550. It's a bad sign that I forgot the number. Usually means that I, well, haven't worked on it in a while, which is true in this case. And now what I want to do is close this. Close all of the things that I have opened right now. No, that was the wrong one. No, that was the wrong one. Does it happen to you guys as well sometimes? Did you just close down everything? Alright, give me a moment. Oh, of course my keypads are broken. I forgot. There are no changes made. Silly thing. Okay, there we go. We're back. Extension activation failed. Jupyter extension. Ugh. I'll live with that for now. Poetry shell. Okay, check out. No, wait. Where are we? On my branch? Yes. Okay, it's fine. All right. So here's the idea. I have this tutorial here that I started. The current state of it actually is here in this thing. There should be a link somewhere. Right, this is the current status of the thing. And there's some overview stuff that I haven't done yet, but I'll write that in the end. There's lots of information, lots of information about how the library works, and at some point, I think, yeah. So at some point I can't do that. Can't write plate like that. And what will happen now is I want to write a little bit about the play call. So about the central piece of all of Manim's animations. Basically, we have this little test scene somewhere. Where is it? There it is. And this article describes what the library does to process this thing until it manages to actually produce output. So the paragraphs that you've seen so far deal with this part, the definition of the class itself, and then the initialization of the square and of the circle, addition of the thing to the scene, and where we are now is we have constructed this animation here, the replacement transform, so that's an object that has been created, and now we actually call the play function. And with the play function, we are gonna do something. So the main aim of this article actually now is in the section that I have to write now, because it basically describes what the library does with such an animation. How does it take the animation and produce how does it take this animation object and produce an actual animation out of it? And that's what I want to talk about a little bit. The other things, small dot will not be interesting, the add updater will not be that interesting. That's just literally attaching a property to an object, to an object. It's not interesting at all. And everything else are just play calls again. And play calls, as soon as you understand how one of them works, you understand how all of them work. Basically, you just have to understand the logic of this loop once, and everything else that happens is not really that spicy. And the good thing is we were sitting on stream like a few weeks ago to talk about what actually happens in the play call. So we did stream us using a debugger and stepping through everything, and I took some notes back then, and the condensed version of these notes I've already put down. So there is something that we can hold hold on to. I do know how things work more or less. But yeah, we'll see. There are some interesting details that might be worth talking about a little bit more. But we'll find it out while I process this. And I know, of course, this is not the most amazing stream content. I just have to do it at some point, and I'd rather do it. I'd rather sit down and force myself doing it on stream, because otherwise I procrastinate and do other things. I will do more interesting stream content later. I'm sorry. I do apologize for the poor entertainment. Okay. Yeah, I think it's time to enter the play call actually. So let's fix the formatting issue with this thing here. Ready to be played. It's fine. We don't need to use code formatting for the first part. And now we are in there. So wait, how did I use formatting in this thing? Animations in the render loop. The render loop actually is a minor. What would be the next level below that? How does head of hierarchy in REST work? Wait, how much do I need to say actually? So we are in scene.py. We have our toy example somewhere. So we are in the self.play function now. Def play. So we can step through this line by line, and we know what happens then basically. Start time, self-renderer, play something. Is there something else happening? No. Okay. So this basically just records or assigns the start time as some variable, which will be used later. That's the only thing here. Okay, let's start with that. We are finally there. The render loop is in our reach. Let us walk through the play call. The code that is run when method scene.play is called. I love Copilot. It's so useful for finishing small sentences like that. As you will see when inspecting the method, method scene.play almost immediately passes all arguments, passes over to the play method of the renderer. In our case, class Cairo renderer dot play then let's include a little reminder hint. Recall that this tutorial is specifically about this article is specifically about the Cairo renderer. Up to here, things were more or less the same for the SVG renderer, OpenGL renderer as well. While some base objects might be different, the code flow and the control flow and life cycle of objects is still more or less the same. This does not hold there are more substantial differences when it comes to the rendering loop. I think that's all I want to say. It should just be like a little hint that we have been talking about like the Cairo renderer all along in this article, and people shouldn't be, I don't know, surprised that when at this point I don't mention, at this point when I mention the Cairo renderer, that people should just be aware of that. Well, this has been the case all along. Okay, so we have the Cairo renderer.play method. Renderer. There we go. So our animation, our scene. I should just mention what the scene.play method actually does, because it does something. It keeps track of the start time of the animation, and after it has been played, it knows the runtime of the animation. And if you choose to use the subcaption feature of self.play, it actually writes the corresponding subcaptions that you had in the play call. It writes them to the corresponding file. So let's mention that. The one thing that class scene.play takes care of exclusively what do I want to say? I just want to say that only the scene, the how's it called? Only class the wait, let's do it like this. I'll snip this and insert it here. And for this part over here, we are finally there. The loops unreached. Let's walk through the code. Let's run when scene play is called. Blah 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 blah. As you will see when inspecting the method, blah blah, almost immediately passes over to the play method renderer. In our case, blub. Okay. And then we can say the one thing, the method scene.play takes care of is the management of management of eventual subcaptions that you might have passed to it. See, I have written documentation for this, I can remember. But where is it? Where is the documentation for this stuff? Is it actually here? Subcaption stuff, no. Add subcaption. Yeah. See, the documentation of... Oh, wait. Let's do it like this. See, because I don't know how to make a reference inside of a URL. I don't think that's possible. The documentation of method scene.play and method scene add subcaption. There's no, that's not called subtitle, right? No, add subcaption. Pass to it, see the documentation of blah and blah for more information. Full stop. Okay. So we managed to describe the scene.play method. Now we are in the renderer. And the renderer does what? The renderer I think the renderer play method, lots of the logic that you can see here is to deal with the caching mechanism. So if I look at this, then I would say this is caching. Caching and skipping. This here is skipping specifically. This here is also skipping. This is caching. This is actually caching. Because this actually checks for whether some file is already cached and then writes the thing that you can see the terminal quite often. Add partial movie file. Hash current animation. Get hash from play car. And then there is this begin animation stuff, scene.begin animations. This mechanism here determines the static that's the mechanism for moving and for static and moving objects. That's the frozen frame stuff. And then play internal is called. And this is, I think, wait, there was a bunch of stuff that I'm not sure I know what it does. There was this here, scene file writer begin animation. What does that do? Scene finished. Where's the begin animation one? Get frame, render, update frame, init scene. Wait, am I stupid? Wait, what? Oh, the file writer begins the animation. Yeah, I'm stupid. So we have to look at the file writer. Then I know what it does. This opens the movie pipe. Yeah. So this ensures that we have a FFmpeg movie pipe open, to which we then paste all of the rendered frames into, and then FFmpeg stitches everything together and creates a, well, partial movie file, the animation movie itself. So this is actually something I should mention. And then scene says. Then we say scene that begin animations, and what does that do? Begin animations. Animation self.animations. What is self.animations? Ah, yeah. For some reason, the way the scene and the renderer talk to each other is extremely weird. Basically, the scene passes the animation in the play call. So I'm tempted to actually draw a diagram. I wonder whether I can easily do that somehow. What would I use for drawing? Wait, I saw something today. Can I use GeoGebra? Like unironically? I saw that today somewhere. Was it just in the web? Wait, let me whip up a notes. There we go. It's not the most efficient thing, but I'll use it for now. So here's what happens. This is the scene. And this is the renderer. Let's make the renderer a triangle. Why not? Why wouldn't you? So the scene says play animation. What the renderer then does is, and basically immediately passes on to the renderer. So this here is basically immediately passed to the renderer. The renderer then says, okay, but please compile the animation data. Compile data, please. And asks the scene to do that. So this is here. The scene file, the renderer asks the scene to compile the animation data and passes the wait. Does the scene actually pass itself? It's so weird. Wait. Where was that? dev play. Now yeah, the scene actually passes itself. Because why wouldn't it? Of course it does. So the scene passes itself and the arguments, which is in this case the animation, to the renderer. The renderer, where's my drawing now? The renderer now asks the scene to please compile the animation data. The scene does that. Wait, the scene is talking in red. Go back. Go back. Yeah. Okay. What does compiling the animation data mean? Well, compile animation data. For some reason, there's a method compile animations, and this does. And this does what? It's just a very, shallow wrapper. We have this animate syntax. It, on the one hand, takes care that all the animate expressions that are passed are actually turned into animations that the play method can process. And on the other hand, it checks whether there's some legacy syntax passed, which cannot be processed in any sensible way. And then all keyword arguments are set by force. So if you pass some keyword arguments in the in your play call, these get set as attributes to all of the animations. So here's my drawing. The scene now starts to process the animations. Let's actually also indicate that we have some keyword arguments here. Here are also some KW args. Then the scene does what? The scene compiles animation data, which means it sets self dot animation to the processed animations. And this here means, for example, the animate syntax. The animate syntax is processed and keyword arguments have been applied. And keyword arguments have been set. So that's basically a constructed form of these animations. If these animations appear, if these up here are still like sort of raw, these here are the finally processed ones. And the scene did that. So the scene processed these animations. And then as soon as it's done with that, it passes back to the renderer. And in how far does it do that? It says compile animations and then returns this animations list, but don't forget wait, it was just the compile animations. Compile animation data. Yeah, that's the method that called the compile animations. It's extremely confusing, by the way, if you have not noticed that yet. And this sets self.animations. Yeah, right. So the scene sets the animations that it passed to the renderer after it has been asked by the renderer to process them. It sets them as an attribute of itself. Cool. So now there is scene.animations, which has the animations that should be played in the next step. It takes care of adding the corresponding objects. That's more technical stuff, but yeah. And then it actually also looks at whether there's a weight in there, whether stuff should be updated, so whether the updater functions should be called, and all these sort of things. All nice. And then it returns itself, so it returns the entire scene to the one that has requested this, namely the renderer. The renderer doesn't do anything with the return value, so it just acknowledges that at this point the scene has processed the animation data. The way the renderer accesses this data now is by accessing the animations attribute of the scene, and not by some like actually passing around return values. It's really, the scene has been asked to compile the animation data. It has stored the processed animation data as an attribute of itself, and the renderer will use this attribute, but it will not. I don't know. The flow is so weird here. So this is basically, it passes back to the thing, and the renderer says, okay, thanks. dy. And we'll use scene.animations. And I find this is weird. Why have this this multiple way communication? If, I don't know, the flow is just so weird. But well, we're just here to document how things currently are, so that we can improve on it. Yeah, and then this animation skipping stuff happens. I'm not sure how much I want to explain of that today. I kind of feel like maybe writing a few more paragraphs, like 2 or 3 more paragraphs, and then stopping actually, and then switching to gaming, because otherwise I will get mad. It's rather agitating to go over this and write this for some reason. Okay, question also is whether how much we actually go into detail here, and describe in detail how things actually. I mean, we should probably at least give people a good idea that things are not great as they are right now, in terms of clarity of streamlining of the process. But yeah. If someone really wants to go line by line, they should just get the debugger and well, get into it, I think. Okay. So we are now in the I think I've done warnings when stuff is particularly confusing before. Maybe we should do that here as well. Let's do one. Warning. This is one. The rendering loop is not the only thing that Manim does. It's true. As has been said before, the communication between scene and renderer is not great. Is not in a very clean state at this point. So the following paragraphs might be confusing if you don't run a debugger and step through the code yourself. Wait. Sure, why not? Okay. The renderer so we have done this actually. Easy. We are inside of renderer.play now. What did I write here? Ask scene to compile animation data, static objects, moving objects, animation runtime. Oh, that also happens there, really? I didn't even see that right now. Compile animation data. That's the objects. That doesn't look like that particular part is actually happening there. I mean, I could be wrong, but this here is a question whether they should update. And this here... Hello, how are you doing? Yo, I'm here. I'm doing well. I've decided to dedicate the first part of my stream to, well, Manim stuff again. We should turn things around in the future and do interesting stuff in the beginning when people are still here and then switch to gaming later. But well, anyhow, I'll do this for a little while longer and then I'll actually continue this latest buy run from last time I streamed, which is like 2 or 3 days ago already again. Time passes so fast these days, it's really quite something. How are you doing? How was your Enter the Gungeon run? Or your runs? I watched for a little while before I went to sleep, but at some point was too tired. But where? So if this stuff doesn't happen here, where else does it happen? Turns out that I suck at Enter the Gungeon. I did manage to pass the first floor. Doesn't everyone? Wait, I'm missing something here. I must be missing something here. Where is the... Moving objects, static objects are set here. Oh, there it happens, in begin animations. This is the thing where it actually happens. I ended up switching to Stanley Parable, then Witness, and by some miracle I got some chat interaction during that. Nice! Good for you! GG! I do want to play The Witness as well at some point. I have downloaded it even, I think. But I'm not sure. It feels like a game I should start on a weekend or so. It's definitely not a Monday evening game. Or at least it doesn't feel like one. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. But I've played, it's really good. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I've heard that several people recommended it to me already, so I'm actually looking forward to it. Oh, okay. We now enter inside class method. What are you working on here? Yeah, deep dive tutorial, exactly. I do wanna finally get it done. I finally want to have the deep dive tutorial done. And so today I've started writing the part for the actual render loop. Oops. There is the link to what I currently have already that's here, and I think at this point it's like a really nice article already that goes quite deep and maybe can even be understood for people. A deep dive sounds like good. Yeah, exactly. I think yeah, Mr. Driver. Mr. Diver, sorry. I think I've posted this, or I sent this to you already at some point. Maybe I didn't. I do this sometimes when people seem to be interested in how the internals work. And I've been working on this for a long time now already. I should really make sure. The deep dive to rendering? Yeah, exactly. It describes the entire life cycle of what happens when this example here is rendered. But yes, ultimately helpful. That's very good to hear. That's exactly why I'm doing this. Even if it's sort of tedious to go through, but in the end I'd also like to understand how things are pieced together a little bit better. And I've produced this funny little I've produced this already, which is yeah, that's like the initial steps of communication between the scene and the renderer, where when you play something, you pass the animation object to the renderer. The renderer asks the scene again to compile the data from the animations, and then instead of passing something back to the renderer, actually the scene just stores everything in the self.animation attribute, and the renderer then works with that. It's so weird. The entire data flow between the scene and the renderer. It's just so interwoven and I don't know. Even if OpenGL it's freaking pointless, it's giving me headaches. Need some form of graphics? Just ping me. Yeah. We definitely will. We definitely will. I think everyone is really happy that someone with an idea of how OpenGL works is around. Grant has given us some resources to look into, because well, we could also learn, but it's kind of, yeah, I don't know. It's learning something completely new is always like a little I don't know. I need to be in the right mindset for that, and I have to say, in recent times I've mostly tried to keep things going somehow. Finally, the mom spent useless on OpenGL in university can be put to use. Yes. So you studied OpenGL in university? Was it like a computer graphics class or something that you did? Almost looks like a laser shot of the prism. Yeah. I'm not sure why I made the renderer a triangle, but it is now, it is. I'm also not sure why the best whiteboard tool that came to my mind was GeoGebra, but well, also that happened. But procrastination from the things I actually need to do. That I know very well. That I actually know very well. Oh well. Let's see. I'll grind out a few more paragraphs here to get a little bit deeper into the render loop, and then I think as soon as I have some more details about the render loop, this is pretty much done, because all of the remaining code in this here this is so we are right here, right in this first play call from in terms of stepping through the debugger. I've explained how an animation object is created. We know how objects are instantiated at this point, so this is not that interesting anymore. The add updater function really just assigns an attribute to something. That's also not interesting. This is just creation of an animation again. Play call we already have discussed. Then play call is discussed. Here's the animate syntax that I need to say something about maybe. Wait is the same as play, but well different. And this again is just an animation object that's being played. So as soon as we have described the play call and the render loop in one thing, I think the article is actually done and we can ship it. I think that's what I'm aiming for. And then we can see how we can improve things. There's actually a few things already in the article that stick out as really weird. And it really might be actually the best thing that we could do is probably try and port over some of the recent improvements Grant has done to the library, and maybe actually phase out the Cairo renderer and jump onto OpenGL and really work with that. I've recently Grant has given us a little. We had a little call with him and he talked about the things that he's currently looking at, and it's really crazy what he managed to do with Manim GL, with all the interactivity that he has really polished very well, like with little color pickers and everything, where you can select objects actually in the scene and do things with them, move them around. Very useful for rapid prototyping and stuff. So in terms of workflow for creating a video, I think this, if you know Manim already, especially Manim GL is at this point more convenient to use than the community version. But I think if we port over some of the new features that Grant has, we will be right back again. So yeah, that's what I'd like to do. Just get things going again a little bit. Okay, let's grind out another paragraph or so. Where were we? If the naming wasn't so different, then the docs would exist. Yep. It's really documentation and honestly, if Manim GL had some tests, that also would improve things by a fair amount. I think even for developing it, it would be much more useful if you had like working test cases. But well, that's not Grant's style of doing things, and I respect it. For a single person project, it's not necessarily the first thing I would do either, but. Especially given the fact that it has grown so large, I'm not sure. There has to be like broken and dead code everywhere, and I mean from the community version experience, I know that there is, and so many weird things that are intertwined in such weird ways, and it really takes lots of effort to untangle them again. He's a real computer scientist, just write code single threads and you can test it. It's true. It's completely true. Now we even have talked we have discussed in the community whether it would be worth just throwing away all of the code and starting from a clean slate. But that's also one of these mistakes that projects tend to do. You really need a lot of momentum to rewrite this library from the ground up, because it's simply so large at this point. And well, I would like to say that rendering is easy, but it's really not that easy actually. So yeah. We'll see how it goes. I still think it's worth to try and clean up the mess that we currently have, instead of just throwing it all away and starting from new. There's just too much there already, and the bad thing is it works. The bad thing is it works. Nobody knows how, but it does somehow. Doing it from scratch would probably take as long as refactoring. Yeah, the problem with redoing it from scratch is it sounds like a very appealing idea somehow, because you throw it away, you redo it, and it would be very, very clean afterwards, clean interfaces, everything exactly in the way you would like it to. But the problem is, judging from the past, like 1.5 years or so, people come and leave in this project like really fast. There are some people that stay a few months and do some stuff, and then they move on to other things that are more interesting to them. And the issue is, if we really decide to like fully halt maintenance of the community version and say we focus our efforts on rewriting, then there would be very, very few people that would actually do that, and it's an immense task to go over that and try to grind something out. And the problem is in the stage where nothing works yet. So you wouldn't start with something that already can render something. You would really start from scratch. You would need to design the CLI. All of these things we would need to create from anew. And it would not be like you have a working thing within a week or so again. I don't see that happening, because we don't even have good proposals for clean interface designs at this point. And that makes it, yeah, very difficult to say that just throw it away and build it from anew without the weird entanglements. I don't quite see how we would do that. Especially because the phase where nothing works yet and we still need to build it to make it actually produce some stuff, this will take a long time, and without the necessary, the corresponding momentum, I don't think it's possible. And that's why I mainly think taking this thing and trying to iterate on it. I don't think that the design of Manim is inherently bad. I really don't think that. I think the structure of all is something that you will probably find in many other animation things as well. It's just that well, some of the ways how interfaces talk to each other are really so weird. There shouldn't be like I don't know, 3 calls between renderer and scene, just that all of the information that is really required actually reaches the renderer. I think that should be in the first call. Why isn't it? But well, I'm ranting. Sorry. You know all these memes about how horrible production code is at big companies? I wonder how it compares to Manim. Horrible code is everywhere. Horrible code is everywhere. I also know that. The interface is a big sigh. Yeah. I sigh with you. Definitely. Alright. We're inside the Cairo renderers method. The structure is already actually pretty good. It's the little things where it just doesn't do what you would expect. So basically everything that's already exists. Polygram. Yeah. There are many examples. You can really go almost any way you like and you'll find anything. And there are some. It wouldn't be so bad if these little things, if some of these little things wouldn't be really bad. If some of these little things wouldn't be really bad. Like Manim should be perfectly able to render, say, the Sierpinski gasket with more than 3 to the 10 animations or something like that. This is still something that it should be able to process in a reasonable amount of time. But the amount of data that is just deep copied and stored somewhere, and deep copied needlessly, it ramps up the performance of it so much, or actually it ramps it up, it degrades the performance of it to a level where you just can't use it properly, which is sad. So performance is a big issue, especially if you ever try doing like 3D stuff. But I mean, the Cairo renderer is not great with 3D stuff. I even feel that the OpenGL renderer could be much improved when it comes to 3D stuff. So yeah, that's one big thing. And then there are some parts of the code that are just really messy, like the file writer and all of these things, where the code works, but it's written in a way that's so convoluted and weird. It's very hard to debug, very hard to trace the code flow, and that makes it hard to fix some of the things that people have requested in our open issues. There are so many open issues that are like tiny things where you think, well, I know exactly where that happens. I see, but you can't change it, because if you change it, then everything breaks, and that's bad. Passing strings to STRs is convoluted? No, that's normal. Who doesn't do that? Oh, well, it is how it is. It is how it is, and we can aim to slowly improve it. Let's get back to diving deep into the system. Yep. I do want to get some more paragraphs done before I actually don't want to anymore. So maybe like I'll do this for like 10 or 20 more minutes, and then I'll switch to some light evening gaming or so. We'll see. Okay, so where were we? We are inside of the renderer's play call. All right, here, perfect. First part that happens is the skip animation stuff. What does this do? Oh my god. Okay, this just checks whether any of the conditions that correspond to the renderer skipping the rendering of the current animation hold. So in particular, if the current section is skipped, then the animation is skipped. If only the last frame should be rendered, then the animation is skipped. And then if the current animation, so we have this syntax that allows to skip to a particular point when rendering. That's the -n flag. And if we are not within the range that should be rendered, then the animation is also skipped. So if we are below the lower bound, then we skip, or if we are above the upper bound, then we also skip and actually also end early, because there's no need to keep on rendering if it should be done anyways. Okay, let's put that down inside Cairo renderer .play. The renderer first checks whether it has to render, whether it may skip rendering of the current scene, of the current animation, of the current play call. This might happen, for example, when -s is passed to the CLI, that is, only the last frame should be rendered. Or when -n, the -n flag is passed with appropriate, with some is passed and the current animation is outside the current play call is outside of the specified render bounds. Okay, so that's the thing that happens there first. Let me quickly check. Wait, we lost the play. There we go. Skip animations is reset to the original skipping status, and then the skipping status is updated. The skipping status is updated after is updated in form of the car2 method. That's not the right one. Update skipping status. Full stop. Okay, next. Okay, this is the thing that I've complained about already. This is the thing with this picture here. Next, the renderer asks the scene to compile to process the animations in the play car to obtain, so that the renderer obtains all of the information it needs. To be more concrete, method scene dot what's it called? Compile animation data, I think. Compile animation data, yep. Ask the scene to process the animations in the play core so that the renderer obtains, so that the animations are in a processable state. No, that's too confusing. So that the renderer obtains all the information it needs is sufficient, and then I'll explain what that means in the next sentence after that. That's fine. To be more concrete, compile animation data is called, which then what are the important things that happen in this? Where is it? There. Compile animations is called. Add objects from animations is called. This is also important, actually. That's not so important. It's just setting initial values. And this might be important again. So I think I'll talk about these two lines first, because these are actually the very, very important ones. Which then takes care of several things. One, it calls method animation begin on all animations in the play call. That's not even true. That's a different method that does that. I like Copilot when it tries to see what I'm still paying attention. Sometimes I would just like to accept and then see what Copilot thinks next. Calls animation interpolate in all animations. Update configuration after interpolate. Great. Update object configuration. Update object list on all animations. Update object colors. It's just making stuff up at this point. Update object 3D configuration. 3D position rotation scale, great. Shear, sure, let's update that as well. Axis, anchor, 3D basis vectors, basis directions, basis normals. Okay, it's enough. Copilot, it's enough. It's enough. That's why we can't let Copilot write that, unfortunately. Although I would probably read it if Copilot wrote me something nice, I would at least read it. Okay, let's get back. It takes care of several things. First one is what exactly? If lang animations is 0, return a value error. Does it even get that far if I call it without any animations? I'm not even sure whether it reaches that. Actually, animating with Copilot is so much better. Yes, it really is. I've had such a great experience when I did my last when I did the 13 equals 13 video that I recently posted. I it was so great to see how it actually made so many good guesses about what I wanted to do and really understood all of these little small things where you have to actually go in and change things manually. It really was very good at after I wrote down one manual case, it auto-complete the next 2 manual cases, and I really liked that. That was quite convenient and enjoyable actually. Okay, so the compile animations one. That processes the animations. The method processes all animations and the keyword arguments passed to the initial method scene.play car. This means, in particular, what does it do? First, it calls prepare animation. Wait, what's prepare animation? Oh yeah, that's exactly the thing. That's the method that, or the function that builds the animation builder object. So this is the stuff that takes care that the animate syntax works as it should. This means, in particular, this means that it makes sure our arguments passed to the play car are actually animations or cars of the animate syntax or animate syntax calls, which are technically not playable animations at that point, No, wait, that's too complicated. Or animate syntax calls which are also converted at that point. Let's not use converted, let's use assembled. Assembled. To be actual animation. No, let's do class animation objects. I think that's okay. In particular, this means that it makes sure all arguments passed to the play caller actually animations or animate syntax calls, which also blah, 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 blah. All right. For any keyword arguments passed to class scene.play, for any, let's say, animation keyword arguments, for any animation related keyword arguments like runtime or rate func pass to scene.play. It also propagates any animation related keyword arguments like blah 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 pass to scene.play to each individual animation. I could say how it does that, but maybe it's not that important. I should say it by... Nah, it's fine, it's fine. I don't want to give too much detail. It's fine. If someone really wants to know, they know where to look it up. Okay, so that's the first thing that happens. That's basically compile animations, and let's compile animations, and we go back to compile animation data. There we are. So this is done. Add more objects from animations. That's actually also important. I should know some, and I should say something about that. Furthermore, the processed animations are then stored in the animations attribute of the scene, which the renderer later reads. Ellipsis. I have to express my distaste with this somehow. Maybe the wording that I wrote above was not enough yet. I should write some more. Good stuff. Okay, wait. Asks into compile animation data. Static objects, moving objects, animation runtime. That's actually not true, that happens later. Oh my god, we're not even at the first point yet. It adds the object associated to all the animations. It adds our objects associated to the... It adds all objects to which the animations that are played are bound to the scene, provided the animation is not an introducer, object introducing animation for these, the addition to the scene happens later. Just for a quick Manim question, do you know a good way to integrate poetry into VS Code? I really want to use the visual debug visual. Yeah, sure. You should just actually. So what I do is you see my terminal down here. I simply go and say poetry shell here, and then the terminal in here is inside the poetry one. And what you can also do is, let me make my thing a little bit smaller because I can't see the Python version. Maybe you have to do it manually. You can, if you, that's probably Control-Shift-P, and select the Python interpreter, then you can simply choose the interpreter that corresponds to your virtual environment, to the poetry one, and then you can simply use it directly. Does that help? Since when does it show? Xenoblade music detected. Yo, have you seen this? I think you have already. Oh, you haven't? Okay. I was bored at some point. Now we have a bot that can do that. And I learned a whole bunch of stuff about well, interacting with an OAuth 2 interface stuff from Spotify. Well, let him headed for cubics is a good night poem. Enjoy. Enjoy. Okay, so we have the addition to the scene, we have the keyword arguments and the processing. What else happens? I think I'll stop after the compile animation data one. That's enough for me today. I can't write too much of this in one sitting. It makes me really, I don't know. Self last t, self stop condition. So that's just setting some default attributes. And it specifically handles the case that the animation displayed is a wait, is a wait animation. Self stop condition, animations, stop condition. So if the objects should update, then they do update once here. And otherwise this returns. Oh yeah, and then the runtime is, yeah, the runtime is returned. That's the thing that I've been missing. Sure. Okay, so yes. Okay. So it adds arm object to the scene. The third thing is, in case the blade animation is a class weight animation, that is this is the case in a method scene.waitCar. The method checks whether it is necessary to checks whether a static image should be rendered or whether the render loop should be processed as usual. C method scene dot is it should object should up wait how's it called? Should update objects, this one. For the exact conditions, basically it checks whether there are any time dependent updater functions etc. And so on. And the last thing that it does is, it's actually the last thing I want to write for today is, where is it? Animation runtime. It gets the runtime. It determines, finally, the method determines the total runtime of the animation. Get runtime. Yeah, which is basically the max of all the animation runtimes. Wait, I'll be right back, chat. Just have the tiniest bleed. Okay. We compile animation data. That was and the final part of that was determining the runtime, which is basically taking the maximum of all the animation runtimes. Because for this particular case, there cannot be any all the animations are supposed to start at the same point. It's not like we are not within an animation group or so everything, we should be able to determine everything here. The method determines the total runtime of the animation of the play car, which at this point is computed as the maximum of the runtimes of the past animations. Okay, and now the scene has processed the animation data. Why it doesn't do that before, I don't know, but it does. So this is how it works. All arguments passed are actually animations, or it turns them into ones. It adds all of the objects except if it's an object introducing animation, then it happens later. If it's a wait animation, it checks what it should do, whether it can just render a static image. And finally, finally determines the total runtime. This is stored in the scenes in the duration attribute of the scene. Again, a weird choice. Why would you at any point set these attributes of the scene object? That doesn't make sense to me. Why would the scene at any point need to have the current animations that should be played and the duration assigned as attributes? That just, I don't know. It's against my feeling what is good communication between these objects and stuff. So well. So this is done. I wonder whether I have a short sentence that I could add next. This here is logic that checks whether it can skip. If it can, it just skips. And if it can't, it checks whether caching is disabled, and if not, it enters the library's caching system. Let me write one final paragraph so that I know where I have to continue next time. But it's basically say I don't want to go into detail of the caching mechanism. We'll just say some keywords, how it's supposed to work roughly, and we don't go into detail there. It's not actually the render loop yet. After the animation data has been compiled by the scene, the renderer continues preparing the renderer continues to prepare for entering the render loop. As a next step, the next as the next. I'm stupid. If I do this for too long, I really get stupid with words. I'm not sure. Just can't. I'm just bad at writing, I feel like. The next thing it checks is whether or not the current animation can be skipped. Wait, does it actually skip the animation at this point? It really does do that if that happens, doesn't it? If the animation should be skipped, then it is skipped. So the time is increased and we immediately go here to we go here to the file writer. None is added here. None is added here. And that's done. Okay, so let's write that. It doesn't check whether it can be skipped, so but it actually does the thing. It now checks the skipping status, which has been determined before. If the renderer can skip display car, it does so. Does so. Where does it do so? It does so here. That's the debug thing. That's not interesting. It sets the hash of the current animation to none, and it increases the time of the renderer. It sets the hash of the animation. Actually, not of the animation. Hash current animation. It's actually the play call that is hash, not really the animation. It sets the current process hash. Which we will get back to in a moment. To none. Increases the time of the renderer by the animation runtime, by the determined animation runtime. Otherwise, it checks. Otherwise, the renderer checks whether or not Manim's caching system should be used. The idea of the caching system is simple. Every play car should for every play car, a hash value is computed, which is then stored, and upon re-rendering the scene, and upon re-rendering the scene, the hash is generated again and checked against the stored value. If it is the same, the cache output is reused. Otherwise, it is fully re-rendered again. And then I'll change this here to current play call hash. Okay, do I actually need to say more here about the caching system? Because I'm not sure I'm really able to. It would maybe be interesting to. I leave a pointer to where people should look if they want to learn more about more about this. And basically it's the get hash from play call function here. Where is that? Hashing. Is this something that is documented? Reference menu, utilities, hashing, get hash from play call. It is. We will not go into details of the caching system here. If you would like to learn more, the func what was the name of the thing? Get hash from play call. The get hash from play call function is essentially the entry point to the caching mechanism. In the mod utils.hashing module. All right, there we go. That's good. I like that actually. Okay, I think, and this is where we stop. I think this is where we stop. We have described the caching mechanism now. I think sufficiently actually. And we have to slightly rearrange stuff because this still doesn't happen here. We have the animation runtime part covered. But the static objects, moving objects, that happens later. Because that actually happens when? I think that's the next thing that happens. If we are in the renderer and we have this thing, skip animations is true. No, that's not the thing. Add partial movie file, the current hash. Animations hash is append. Here it happens. This is it. Scene.begin animations, because I think this is where the scene also determines the begin animations. It calls animation.begin on all animations, and then it determines all of the static and moving objects. Yeah, so this here is the thing that happens. And then after that has happened, the static image is rendered. So after the animations are started, then we render the static image that is kept in the background, and only the moving objects are, well, rendered on top of it every frame. So that's then actually, I think as soon as we actually render the image, then I would consider saying that we're actually in the render loop. The play car. And instead of, let's slightly rename this because we are not entering the render loop just yet. Preparing to enter Manim's render loop. Then we have this. It's cute that Copilot wants to add a few more markers up here. Clearly doesn't understand that the number of markers has to correspond to the length of the line. But how should it? How should it? I don't think it's that context sensitive. I mean, it clearly is somehow context sensitive, but not like that, I guess. All right. So what do I have to say? Okay, so to do for next time, we open movie pipe for one play car, and then we determine we begin our animations plus determine static moving objects, and after that we actually enter the render loop, because I would consider everything after this here to be actually the render loop, I would say. So for me personally, I think the render loop begins either here or maybe even here, because this is the first point where we actually render something. This is the static frame that is rendered here. Then this is just the frozen frame stuff. It's checked when we can keep that background image as a static image throughout the animation. And if not, then the scene.playInternal call is called. And this friend here is the actual render loop. But I would be generous and say, well, everything up here, everything starting from up here where the static image is rendered, all of that belongs to the actual render loop. Okay. Begin all animations, determine objects, and then we actually enter the render loop. Actually entering the render loop. The render loop for real this time. Yeah, and then we are here. Then we render the background image. The FFmpeg pipeline has already been opened. Scene.begin animations. That has already happened. Introduce actually add objects to scene. Yeah, but that's over there. Begin all animations. That's here. Deterministic moving objects, and then we do the thing. This also happens. Wait, does this happen after the image has been rendered? Let me check. Begin animations and then the images. Yeah, the checking for the frozen frame happens after. So this here happens already inside of the render frame of the render loop. And then we are in scene.play internally, and that's the actual render loop, I would say. Okay, good. Good. So we have some information on the part that happens right before the render loop starts. And that's actually, I've written way more than I had hoped for today. Good. What's that? Like 650 to almost 100 lines. That's good. That's good. Sorry, chat, for not, well, as I've said before, I know it's not the most entertaining content, but it's important and I need to do it at some point, and I'm most effective if I force myself to sit down and do it on stream. And maybe parts of it were interesting to you as well. At some point, people will benefit from this, because at some point there will be a nice article that explains how Manim works, which is good, which is something good. What did we do? We explain scene.play pre-render loop. Let's just say start explaining scene.play. There are no stage change. Should stage them as well. Yep. Commit. I did not check for typos, which I should have done probably. That's fair. I think it was fun anyways. Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. I'll push all of that. Wait, are there any typos? Any typos? Hashing is for example a typo. Hashing. Any further typos? It's the only typo. Subcaption. Subcaption. But that's how you write subcaption. That's not me. That's fine. That's fine. The rest looks fine actually. Yep. I'll take it. Typo. Push. Oh, good. Very good indeed. So this is the PR. In case anyone of you feel like proofreading, feel free as usual. That's the pull request, and the updated rendered version will be here in like a few minutes. Then that should contain the latest version that I've just put together, and there's, well, only some stuff missing then. I hope at least. We'll see. Will it pass the pre-commit CI? No, of course not. Trailing white space. Oh, okay, but just trailing white space. That always happens to me. I should maybe do that locally, actually. And actually just in one line. Oh, I feel bad. Now I feel kind of bad. All right. Good stuff. I think we will be able to finish this at some point this week, and then we have a nice, and then I hope we have a nice, well, overall guide for how this works. I should not forget to actually write the overview of this article then, because there really is lots of stuff in there. That's easily the longest Manim related text I've ever written. But yeah, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. Okay, thanks chat for holding on for so long. I'll now switch to gaming. Let's play some Slay the Spire, I guess. There's still a run I have to finish from last time. I'll take a very quick break before we start and fetch something to drink, but let me bring up the game and then change category and stuff. And then, yeah. Then we'll see what happens.